Hi everyone, and welcome to Musings of an Earthbound Alien, and welcome to 2021 and the new studio. I figure 2021 is going to be a continuation of COVID, riots in the US, riots in many other places around the world. Welcome to the future, the dystopian future, and I'm in my bunker. Alright, let's get right to it. Age. How old do you really feel? Well, let's talk about that when we come back. See you in a second. Okay, welcome back everybody. As I was saying, aging. It's something we all do. And let's face it, every year we're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, or not. And we have to figure that there's something going on within our heads, within our bodies, as to how we feel. But it's actually a little bit more than that. It's been seen, it's been found to be a very real thing. Subjective age, for example, refers to how individuals experience themselves. You either experience yourself older or younger than a chronological age. For example, I'm 57. That's my chronological age. That's the age on my birth certificate. But what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing to me. Subjective perception of aging actually does not coincide with your chronological age, and there's a large range, a large variable amongst individuals. The concept of a subjective age, it's been highlighted in aging study and research as an important idea, primarily because it has relevance to late life health outcomes. I mean, this is not something that, I feel really old or I feel young. It's like, it's a real thing. The studies have shown that your subjective age can even predict various important health outcomes, including risk of death. In a real way, you really are only as old as you feel. A lot of the research, by the way, took place between the 70s and the 80s. Once in a while you'll see some other stuff, but the research that I've looked up, and again I'll post the links below to a lot of these the research that was done. It's actually quite interesting. Those people with a younger subjective age, for example, that feel younger, they also report that they became more conscientious and less neurotic, go figure, throughout their time. They still have the wisdom that comes with greater life experience. A nice way to say, yeah, you know more as you get older, but what do you do with that knowledge? I mean, my friends and I are always saying, and I'm sure that you've done the same thing, that wouldn't it be nice to be able to travel back in time to when you were in your late teens, early 20s, but with the knowledge you have now intact? That's actually an interesting thought exercise right there. Because of that subjective age, however, that wisdom doesn't come at the expense of the energy and exuberance of youth. Far from it. It's not as if having a lower subjective age leaves us frozen in a state of permanent immaturity either. Well, except for myself, I have been told on several occasions that I'm acting in a juvenile sort of way. But you know what? I don't mind that. I actually don't mind that at all. I don't want to be the age that I'm supposed to be. I don't feel the age that I'm supposed to be. I always use and refer to my metric age, which my metric age is 37, which, by the way, if you haven't figured it out just from that statement, your metric age is always 20 years younger than your physical biological age. A lot of the times I actually feel like I'm in between 18 and 27. It's also said that people that, as they get older, supposedly, they tend to mellow. They become less extroverted, less open to new experiences. And the research tends to bear that out. However, I haven't actually personally experienced that. If anything, I've gone in the opposite direction. I've become far more open to new experiences. My thought processes have expanded. I've become more extroverted, if anything at all. I'm not quite the social butterfly that some of my friends are. I have a couple of female friends that they're close to my age, not quite there yet, but they're really the social butterflies of, the people that I know. And even my ex, she's a fantastic woman, and she's not quite my age, but she's getting close, and yet she also is that social butterfly. She's actually become more extroverted as she's gotten older. She doesn't feel anywhere near her age. And it does, again, bear out that experience within those studies. I have mellowed in the sense that I've become, and I get less annoyed than I used to. I've accepted way more change and diversity than I used to when I was in my other youth. But feeling younger also seems to come with it feels better. It feels much better. Feeling younger comes with a lower risk of depression and mental health issues, barring external stimuli. Obviously, everything from injuries and death and financial loss and a number of other external effects on you as on a personal level can definitely affect the age that you feel and mental health issues. But the other part of that is better physical health as well, including a lower risk of dementia also seems to be an effect of feeling younger than you actually are. In a study that tracked 17,000, actually a little bit more than 17,000 so-called middle-aged and elderly participants, most people that felt younger than their actual chronological age experienced that positiveness. But for those that felt older, the consequences were far more serious. Feeling between, as part of the study, feeling between 8 and 13 years older than their actual chronological age seemed to result in an 18 to 25% greater risk of death over that study period. Now again, there were external stimuli, health issues, that sort of thing, but there was the suggestion within those studies that some of those health issues were as a direct result of them feeling actually older than they really were. It also equated to greater disease burden. Even when you control for other demographic factors such as economic, education, race, marital status, that sort of thing. A lower subjective age also means you may be more willing to enjoy greater range of activity. Traveling further in one's education, learning a new hobby, those are just some examples of what you can do if you actually feel younger. There are so many studies and examples of individuals in their chronological 80s that went back to university, went back to high school even, and graduated with degrees, with their diplomas, and lived incredible lives. They had a second, third, and fourth careers in some cases. I mean, fantastic examples of how that feeling younger can happen. Physical well-being can be part of it. I've met some older people that, you know, they do long distance running. I know one woman, a friend that she is a year or two older than I am, and she does marathons. And it's like, holy crap. With my knees, I can barely jog to the end of the driveway. But, you know, that said, this is a woman that is in fantastic shape, and mentally, she's far younger than her chronological age. But the $64 question, can you just turn on that subjective age? Can you just turn on a switch that says, you know what, I'm not going to be 47, 57, 67, whatever your age happens to be. I'm going to be younger. Personally, I've never made the conscious decision to be younger. I don't think you can. I don't think any of the research actually shows you can just turn it on. However, I mean, really, you either have it or you don't have it. However, I think you can make the effort. It's just harder to do if if you're not already there. If it's not already part of your DNA, your makeup to not feel your age. I think you can make that effort. The fact that you know there is a difference that gives you an edge. If you know you're in your 50s but you feel like you're in your 60s, and there are consequences to that feeling aged, you can do something about it to try and change that. For example, you can seek out counseling. Actually talk to your doctor or a counselor can open avenues of change in the way you think. There may even be a medical reason. For some men, there's the testosterone issue. For women, estrogen. Depending on the levels in your body, that actually might make you feel older in some cases. Speaking with close friends and families about how you feel can help. However, that assumes that they don't feed into your neurosis and your feelings of being aged. They have to be one of those positive, happy-go-lucky, if you will, groups that feel younger. You can make that conscious decision to change, exercising and sticking with it, changing a diet, even forcing yourself to do something different. Go back to school. Take a class or two at the local community college or university, whether it's even online or in person. Now, obviously, this would be after the pandemic is over and you're able to interact a little bit more. But even exercising, forcing yourself to go on walks, even if it's just down to the end of the block or do a short block, then after a couple of weeks make it longer. Even doing that actually helps. Exercise in general has been found to help people feel younger, feel more energetic. Change in your diet. Talk to a dietitian. It's not going to be easy to change. Change in itself is not necessarily an easy thing, not in any way, shape, or form, but it's worth it if you could make the change. It really is. However, the catalyst for that change is yourself. You're not going to be able to just say, I'm going to do that. And you're not going to come up with a New Year's resolution that says, I'm going to do X in the new year. Chances are you're not going to do it because most New Year's resolutions, for a fact, never get done. How many people have made New Year's resolutions over the decades and turn around and say, well, if you look at how many you've kept, I'm sure you could probably count on one hand how many you've kept. There are those that they're fastidious in the number of resolutions they've kept. They're not procrastinators, but it's not easy. You know, it's just being able to say, I have identified the fact that, you know what, I'm really feeling old. And by the way, just because you wake up one morning and you really do feel old because you've been drinking the night before, or you just didn't get much sleep because you got a project that's due, or whatever the issue is, you know, just doing that one or two times and feeling really crappy does not necessarily mean you actually feel older and you're getting older. It just means you had a bad day. Having a bad day means absolutely nothing. You suck it up, you pull up your drawstrings, and you throw your pants on, you go shower, you go exercise, you do whatever you have to do to change that morning feeling. I don't believe there's such a thing as, oh, Mondays. Why the hell does it have to be Monday again? Who gives a shit? It's just a day of the week. We all go through the blahs. Hell, I do it enough times, and I know my friends at work, they've heard me complain about the morning blahs all the time. But that said, you know what? You can make that change. You can feel younger, and if you feel younger, you're probably going to live younger, but you've got to change things in your lifestyle. Quit smoking. Cut down on the drinking. Doesn't mean you have to stop drinking, just cut down on the drinking. There's lots of things that you can do, but it's up to you to do that change. All right? Short one today. Not going to keep you. It's New Year's. It's a new year. It's not New Year's Day. Today is what is today? Today is the 8th of January. But you know what? It's a new year. It's 2021. And I joke that it's going to be a shitty year just like 2020, but a year is a year, a day is a day. It makes no difference. Shit happens. You just move on and you get better, and you make what you can out of it. You know, you have friends, you have family, you have acquaintances, you have your mind. Use it. Read a book, listen to music, play a game, take up a hobby, exercise. All of these things can help improve mental health, mental awareness. Even if it's just reading a comic book, doing something with your mind, changing the way you brush your teeth. You know, if you're left-handed, use your right. If you're right-handed, use your left. Comb your hair with your opposite hand. Just do something different. But just do it. All right? And enjoy doing it. Okay, till next time. Stay safe out there. Cheers. Bye-bye.